DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to the show. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here at Iowa State University, where we're shooting DocTalk. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about calfhood implants and what you should be doing and thinking about after these calves are turned out at the time of branding, things that you can do to improve profitability and to improve the growth rates of your calves.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families and rural Kansas for more than 100 years, and we're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Closed captioning brought to you by Vet Gun with Amel and new AMA Abamectin Vet Caps, the 1-2 punch against horn fly resistance from AgriLabs.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here at Iowa State University's Department of Animal Science. And today we're going to talk about calfhood implants. As we have talked and we're preparing our bulls, we're getting our cows ready, getting the calves ready for this breeding season that's upcoming. One of the things we need to discuss is the use of implants in baby calves that are nursing the cow. And there have been many different theories about should I implant, should I not implant these calves on the cow. And I think it all comes back to some of the things that what are your goals and what are the different intentions you have for both calves and for steers and for heifers. The first thing I want to just come back and touch on is castration. And the reason why I want to touch on castration of our bull calves, of doing that early, either at the time of birth or shortly thereafter, or at the time of branding, they're at 2 to 3 months of age, is that some people leave bulls intact thinking that if I leave those bulls intact, they'll have heavier weaning weights at the time of weaning. And it's just not true. We have papers from University of Arkansas, University of Florida, Kansas State, and others showing that castration early, within the first 2 to 3 months of age, versus leaving those bull calves intact until the time of weaning, that there is no difference in body weights at the time of weaning. And the reason is that the testicles that are attached to the bull calves do not produce testosterone, which are going to increase the growth rates of those calves until the bull calf goes through puberty, which is 8 to 10 months of age. We wean these calves at 6, 7, 8 months of age. Therefore, leaving them intact does not improve the growth rates while the calves are on the cow. However, when we receive those calves at the feedlot, we will see a 150% increase in morbidity rate and a 150% increase in railer and death loss when we have to castrate those. The stress of castration at the time of arrival really diminishes the immune system when we're looking at those calves as they come in. So when we castrate those calves early, we're going to alleviate the stress of the time in which when we get those calves at the feedlot, and we're going to decrease morbidity mortality. It also increases the value of the calves when you take them to market. We know that pounds are a premium, and what we sell are pounds of calves at the time of weaning. However, if we're going to have expected increased risk of morbidity and mortality because those calves are intact, that's when we're going to have a problem, and you're going to have a deduction of what they're going to bid on those calves. So, with that said, we're going to move on to a strategy that you can use to increase the weights of calves at weaning, which is the use of steroid implants. And so as we come back, we're going to go through scenarios, whether it's heifers that are intended for breeding, steers that we're going to retain ownership, different types of strategies, different types of management possibilities. You're watching DocTalk, and we're glad you joined us. Hey folks, welcome to our Cattle First Minute. I'm Dr. Dan here, and thanks to Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica for sponsoring this. When we think about vaccination and vaccinating calves in the fall, or vaccinating your cows in the fall, or summer, or spring, it doesn't matter what time of year, we've got to treat vaccines responsibly. Because if you don't, that modified live vaccine becomes a modified dead vaccine. We want to make sure we keep it out of the sunlight. We want to make sure that we keep it cool. We want to make sure that you don't mix up more vaccine that you're going to utilize than what you would utilize in an hour. And when you do, make sure you put it in that cooler that keeps it dark and keeps it cool. All of these things, understanding that the syringes have to be clean so that these products work well. Putting a vaccine that is not efficacious into an animal means you vaccinate the animal, but you don't immunize the animal. And understanding that there's a difference between immunization and vaccination is important for Cattle First.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices. This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and we're talking about the implanting calves while they're on the cows, so calfhood implants. And it's probably our number one strategy for improving weight gain of calves at the time of weaning when we're branding them. So the first thing is determining what type of implants we're going to use. And I break down steroid implants into three different categories: low potency, medium potency, and high potency products. And the high potency products are the ones that we're using as terminal implants at the feedlot, so the last 100 days on feed. The medium potency implants would be like our Rev-IS, Synovex Choice, those medium potency implants that we would utilize either at the time of weaning, or we would use them at arrival at the feedlot for longer fed cattle, or we would use them as an implant for grass-fed stocker type cattle, as they'll last about 120 days. Therefore, the low potency implants are Rowgrow, our Synovex C, our Revelar G. Those lower potency implants are the types of implants that we're going to use on calves while they're on the cow. And I recommend that you work with your local extension agent, work with your local veterinarian as to what type of implants other people in your area utilize on these calves that are on the cow. But what we want to do is dial back and use these lower potency implants. And what we will expect by using these lower potency implants is we'll expect about a 10 to 15 pound body weight advantage at the time of weaning. And so if you have commercial cattle and you have steers that you're going to sell, and you aren't going to fit them into some sort of marketing scheme, natural, organic, or never implanted type program, it's a huge advantage to go ahead and implant those calves at the time of branding to recoup that 10 to 15 pounds of body weight, weaning weight advantage when you sell your calves. So low potency implant, steer calves we're going to implant automatically, again, unless you're going to go into some different marketing strategy. When we start to think about bulls, the one thing you never want to do is we do not ever implant a bull that is going to be intended for breeding purposes. So it'll not allow the testicles to develop, it will not allow the bull calf to develop, and it will have negative impacts on that bull's ability to breed cows in the future. So when it comes to male cattle, male calves at the time of branding, if we have steers, we're going to implant them, whether they're going to go to a feedlot or whether they're going to go to grass. The implanting that we do on the cow will not have an impact on the ability of the next implant to provide an increase in performance. When we look at bulls, any male animal that is intended for breeding purposes should never be implanted with a steroid implant. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we do with the heifers. You're watching DocTalk, and we're glad you joined us.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and we don't have a guest today. Part of the reason is that we have coronavirus going on, and we're trying to help out the best we can with prevention of the social distancing and not trying to spread the disease. That said, we're still business as usual, and we're getting out and about and covering cattle for clients that have issues. But you may see a rerun or two, but they're going to be timely topics to help you through this spring, through this summer, and help you with your beef production management. So today we're talking about calfhood implants, and we talked about the male cattle, and we're talking about, when we say calfhood implants, usually what we're talking about is at that 2 to 3 months of age, when those calves when we bring the cows in for their pre-breeding vaccinations, and we bring the calves in for their turnout, whether it's vaccination, dewormer, castration, and now the other component is making sure that we utilize management tools such as steroid implants to improve the performance. One of the common questions we get is, what should I do with the heifers? We have pretty cut and dry with the steers. If we're selling commercial steers, we're going to implant those steers at that branding at 2 to 3 months of age, and we never implant a bull that's intended for breeding. If you're in a special program, natural and organic, again, don't implant those calves because then they won't qualify. However, with heifers, the question I ask is, what are your intentions with these heifers? If you know that you're going to retain the ownership of these heifers and you know that you're going to use them for breeding purposes, there's no need to implant them, because there's no need in that extra weight gain, or if you're just going to keep them as weaning and then keep them as yearlings and then grow them for replacement heifers, there's no need to implant them. However, if you know that you're going to sell them as feeder heifers, or you don't know if you're going to retain them as breeding or as replacements, or as sell them as feeder heifers, then those are the heifers that we'll go ahead and implant with a low potency calfhood steroid implant. The time in which we implant these heifers is somewhere after 1 month of age and before puberty. So if you're going to keep them, if you don't know if you're going to keep them as replacement heifers. Studies out there show that if we implant those heifers with a low potency implant between 1 month and weaning, that we will not have a negative impact on the reproductive status or the conception rates in which those heifers will perform. So here's this kind of the breakdown in the rule of heifers. If I know that I'm going to keep them as replacement heifers, there's no need to give them a steroid implant. If I don't know, if I know that I'm going to sell them as a feeder heifer, then we want to give them a low potency implant at the time of branding. If I don't know if I'm going to keep them as a replacement or if I'm going to sell them as a feeder heifer, then I can go ahead and have confidence at that 2 to 3 months of age of giving them a low potency steroid implant and know that I'm not going to have any effect on the ability of that heifer to breed or have reproductive distress. Thanks for watching DocTalk. When we come back, we'll wrap up.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. If there's one thing we can do during the coronavirus, that's shoot DocTalk. May not have a guest, and it may be a little bit of a ghost town here for the next few weeks, but you're stuck with me, and I hope that you're okay with that. I have moved on from Kansas State University after 16 years. I'm going back to my alma mater, Iowa State University. I'm a very proud alumni, and I love Iowa State. I love K-State. We've had a great run, and so if you see me wearing red and wearing Iowa State, which we have in the past, you're going to still see me wearing some K-State as we come back and shoot shows with Dr. Meisner, Casey Olson, all the crew, Apley, as we move forward. So we're talking about implants and implanting calves while they're on the cow. And the big thing is that these steroid implants are probably our number one biological and economically efficient tools for managing beef cattle, whether it's sustainability or whether it's the use of natural resources, the increase in body weights and improvement in feed efficiency, all the above. And so it's vitally important that you understand when and how you can use these. We recommend, again, looking at male calves, implant the steers, never implant a bull that's intended for breeding. If you're going to keep a replacement heifer, there's no need in spending the money because you don't need that accelerated growth rate. However, if you don't know, or you know you're going to sell them as a feeder heifer, go ahead, give them a low potency implant at that 2 to 3 months of age. You'll get the increase in performance with zero impact on reproductive efficiency. When those calves go to the stocker, when those calves go to the feedlot, that implant that's given at weaning or given at branding is going to have no impact on the implant that we're going to give at weaning. So if you retain ownership, don't skip the calfhood implant because you think you're gonna do something negative or do something with compensatory gain at the feedlot. It's just not true. We'll go to the next level of potency when those calves come to the feedlot or to the stocker operation. And at the time of weaning, you want to give those calves that intermediate implant or that Rev-IS, that Synovex Choice, those types of implants that are medium in their potency of delivery, which is all dependent on the dose of the steroid which is in the implant. We get a lot of questions about safety and steroid implants, and I can tell you this, we've been using steroid implants since 1954. That's when they were first developed at Iowa State University by Dr. Wise Burroughs in his laboratory. And his graduate student at that time was Dr. Rod Preston, who wound up being my major professor later on down the road at Texas Tech University. Steroid implants are safe. Steroid implants are a tremendous tool in which we can utilize to improve feed efficiency, improve the use of natural resources, and to improve the outweights and, more importantly, the profitability of your operation. I hope you enjoyed today's show. You're going to see a little more of us. We're going to keep shooting DocTalk. We're thankful for you watching us. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian, and if you want to know more about what we do here on DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here at Iowa State University, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Vet Gun with Amel and new AMA Abamectin Vet Caps, the 1-2 punch against hornfly resistance from AgriLabs.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com.
DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families in rural Kansas for more than 100 years. We're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.